Hey, and welcome to another day of Utah RemoteCon. We are up for our second panel right now. Before we introduce that panel, though, we do want to thank you guys so much for your donations. We ended up crossing the 2,000 mark for raising money for the American Cancer Society. So thank you guys so much. We really appreciate that. We're going to have a raffle just following this panel here. So make sure to stay logged in, and we will have that up momentarily. So thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it. Well, without further ado, I'm going to bring on the moderator, Craig Price.
Hey, Colin, how are you?
Good. How are you, man?
Well, you know, I'm in Southern California just trying to make it through the day. So
I hear you. It's crazy out there, man.
I feel like I'm in a bad episode of like Tales from the Crypt or, you know, The Martian. Everything's a weird color. I don't know what's going on. How are things in Utah?
Oh, great, man. Besides, lots of power outages and internet outages, and, the world's on fire. So it's great.
Well, let's talk about something water-based then instead of something that's dry and smoky.
All right. Well, I'll let you go ahead and introduce the panelists, and I'll just be off hiding in the ocean here.
All right. Well, let's bring them on in. I'm not in control of who goes first, so we'll start with Tracy. Tracy Mangum from Movies That Make Us. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, Craig. How you doing?
Great. No cat today.
He's around here somewhere, but
okay.
Not right now.
Well, you're on the Movies That Make Us podcast. Have you ever covered any shark movies on Movies That Make Us?
We covered Jaws. I've been trying to convince the team to cover Sharknado, but they haven't done that yet.
Okay, because I don't know if that movie has made us or not.
It made me laugh really hard.
Well, let's move on to Robert Neal. Robert, how are you, sir?
Oh, doing well, thanks. How are you?
Good. When it comes to shark movies, what do you like or dislike about them?
Dislike when sharks eat Samuel L. Jackson, like just about everything else.
So you don't mind them eating other people? It's just the Samuel Jackson exclusive.
When Samuel L. Jackson is giving a diatribe and all of a sudden the shark's like, oh, hey, that guy, and then disappears. I mean, he didn't even get to finish what he was talking about. I was like, oh, come on. I was right there. What happened?
That has to be the most effective shark attack in the history of cinema. That's exactly why they did that.
It worked. It was good.
And let's introduce the person that really was the mastermind of this, the one that submitted the panel and is going to be our shark expert, Lizy Cole. Hi, Lizy.
Hello. Good evening to you.
She's got it looks like you've got your antenna on. I know you've got some mats.
Yes, I do.
And is that a shower curtain behind you? I can't see.
No, that's just a regular curtain for our window.
Right. So what inspired you to want to do a shark-related panel?
Yeah, well, that's kind of a long story. Let me summarize. A couple years ago, I decided to do my own Shark Week, like just look up YouTube videos of sharks instead of just watching straight up Discovery. And I found that I just couldn't stop watching. These are very fascinating creatures, and that actually did a lot to comfort me when I was having a harder time with my mental health. So they're kind of my emotional support animals.
Nice.
But anyway, yeah, I think sharks are awesome, and more people need to see the side of them that isn't the teeth.
Well, I'm waiting to see someone take a shark to the old folks' home and let the old people touch them and pet them. That'd be a great little support animal.
That may not be too far-fetched at some point. I mean, they have smaller shark species at aquariums that they take out to schools and stuff.
Well, absolutely. Well, let's talk about sharks first. And when I wanted to start off, it was sharks and entertainment. And I find that they're usually in three categories. Either they're a true story, something actually happened and they base it on that. That would be something like the USS Indianapolis is a very famous story about shark attacks and the Navy. Not only was it a true event, but it had a very great Robert Shaw monologue in the middle of Jaws. And then there's other things like, open water and where there's people, it was kind of loosely based on a true story. But then we move into what I call just straight up horror movies, where the shark is doing what the shark is supposed to do, but it's just eating people relentlessly. And then there's the third category, which is something has mutated, something is not right with the sharks or the animals or whatever. So we'll start off with Tracy. Tracy, you seem to be a Sharknado guy. That's going to be in the comedy / sci-fi. What about those movies really gets you?
The
That's
Sharknado,
actually
it's a great Funko. In fact, I picked up a San Diego Comic-Con bloody Sharknado exclusive and got Ian Ziering to sign it, which is a highlight of mine. So Jaws freaked me out when I was a kid. Like Jaws terrified me, and then as an adult, I love just the campiness of the Sharknado movies. And when we talked to Ian Ziering, he's like, "Look, we know these are bad movies. We know that they're silly and over the top. We're having a blast making them, and hopefully people are having a blast watching them." And we would get together with friends and we would do like our own Mystery Science Theater live while it was happening. And it was just, that made it just so fantastic. So I do like the open water, the normal shark. But there is something about the fantastical evil shark that I do enjoy as well.
Well, I had a chance to interview Tara Reid, and they're all in on the joke on Sharknado. That's the important part. But Lizy, what kind of movies do you watch of sharks? What kind of sharks do you like the most?
So I'm actually not a horror person. I'm more of a run of the mill Disney Finding Nemo, Moana sort.
Shark Tales.
Like my main shark entertainment is just whatever videos I can find on YouTube. It's educational clips and shark diving trips. That sort of thing.
I did find the only when I found out I was hosting this, I did some research and I found only one movie where the shark is the good guy, and that is called Mako, the Jaws of Death, where a gentleman has a psychic link with sharks in general. He's like Aquaman, but only with sharks. And then he goes out. Then he goes out and uses the sharks to attack anybody that would attack a shark. So he's after like sporting fishermen, evil biologists, but that's the one.
I kind of like that.
What's it called again, Mako?
It's called Mako, the Jaws of Death. It came out in the 70s. So it's probably a horror movie still, but but at least the sharks are not the bad guys. They are killing bad guys. And
that's an interesting concept, but considering I haven't heard of it before, it's probably not very popular.
It's also 40 years old, so that may be it too. It was probably twice your age. I know you're not. You're not very old, so it's something that me and Tracy grew up with. Probably, Robert, you're probably in that area too. What movies did you like? What kind of shark movies do you like, Robert?
I kind of go across the board. I mean, I like the ones where the shark is the bad guy. Like the ones where the shark is a little more comical, like Finding Dory or Shark Tale, like you mentioned. That also it can also go the other way to like Street Sharks or Tiger Sharks, is the cartoons from like the mid '80s.
Street Sharks.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay, I missed that one. I guess I was.
No, you didn't really.
No, I didn't. So let's talk about some of these movies and how they have misrepresented sharks. First, and then we'll talk about what sharks are truly like. And Lizzie's going to help us out on that quite a bit. We'll start off with, it's got to be with Jaws. You have to. They all start and end with Jaws as the main event. And in that movie, most of what the shark was doing, except for the fact that it's 25 feet long, which is not true, and that's what they have to do. They have to make it big. He wasn't really doing anything wrong besides finding a food source and then hanging out. So, right. What did you see that might have caused an issue with the movie Jaws? Lizy, you've seen Jaws, I'm assuming.
Yes, last week I rented Jaws on YouTube, and from what I could tell, Jaws, well, it turned the shark into kind of a menace that was just attacking innocent beach goers, and it was. Hold on, I'm trying to collect my train of thought.
It's more like I would call a godless killing machine, is what Jaws was.
Yeah, it was like the way everyone talked about it, like even the shark scientists, like all it does is eat, swim, make little baby sharks. That's more or less what he literally said.
Right, and that is not true
Yeah.
either.
Yeah, and I think it kind of glorified hunting down the monster shark that's killing people, and that making killing sharks a heroic act.
Well, didn't the author of Jaws say later that he wished that he had never written it?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, he saw what the movie was doing to the reputation of real sharks, and he spent the rest of his life trying to rectify that.
Yeah, because when you kill a shark, it doesn't stop the other sharks. So it doesn't really intimidate.
Exactly, it's pointless.
Right. It's unlike where the situation where if a mountain lion attacks somebody or a bear, you have to get rid of that bear because it'll attack again.
Right.
In this instance, it seemed like they were just trying to get any shark they could find.
Yeah, and I felt really bad for that tiger shark they caught. And what made it worse is, hey, look, we caught a shark, but it's not the shark that killed the little boy.
Well, and isn't that how most things go? Is that it's really for show? We just want to show that we got a shark.
Any shark will do. Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, also, because I see people talking about, yes, orca could destroy Jaws, Steve Condrick. We have proven that a killer whale will kill and eat a great white shark.
True.
But one of the other things is that at the time, a lot of people didn't know or believe that great white sharks would go that far north.
Right.
And
that's true.
So
actually,
where do they usually hang out?
Well, here's the thing. Great white sharks normally live in temperate water, so not the tropics, but cooler waters like California, New England, that sort of thing. But great whites, around the time Jaws came out, they hadn't been off the coast of New England for a while because their main prey source, seals were close to extinct in New England in the 70s. But after Jaws, they started pass environmental protection acts that protected the native seal population. So that brought back the seals, and now the great whites are back in New England and
in mass. Because I grew up
Central Atlantic U.S. coast.
Yeah, because I grew up in New England, and you go into the water, it's 55 degrees, it's cold. It's not California cold,
right?
But I don't remember seeing many seals. So, and I think that might have to do with some global warming as well. I think the seas in the New England area have gotten warmer, which is then going to push the sharks north. But they are actually out there. And Jaws was based on an event that happened in New Jersey, which they made a movie about called 12 Days of Terror, where, and it wasn't even a great white shark. They were bull sharks, which are
exactly.
They're kind of like, correct me if I'm wrong, aren't bull sharks like mini great white sharks?
Not exactly. They're like a thicker version of your average reef shark.
That's
really
THICK.
Sort of, yeah.
Robert's shaking his head. I'm sorry, I had to go with that when we talk about a thick shark.
It could go either way. I think they're thick with juices.
So it's like a little stunted shark, but they're mean. They're not
kinda
mean. I mean, they're more aggressive, right?
Well, the thing with bull sharks is they're able to swim in fresh water, right? So rivers and estuaries often have water where the visibility is not as good. So a bull shark will bump into a person and like either they want to investigate what it is or they think it's a prey item, so they'll just bite.
Yeah, and I mean, I've only encountered a shark once and I barely remember it. It was in Hawaii, and someone went, "Shark!" That's the symbol for shark. And we all looked around and went, "Where is it?" And someone saw a fin, and that was it. Have any of you, encountered sharks? Robert, have you ever encountered any sharks?
No, and I grew up on the East Coast as well, and I was mid-Atlantic, but no, never. And oddly enough, haven't run into any here in Utah.
Yeah, really?
I know, it's strange, right?
We're Shark Lake City, man. Come on.
Yeah, Shark Lake City. It's salt water.
There you go.
They don't live in Salt Lake. It's not one or two floating around in there.
The Great Salt Lake.
Nothing lives in that lake except brine shrimp.
Well, that kind of puts me in a situation where when it comes to movies, there's a bunch of shark movies where sharks don't do anything sharks do. So there's Sand Shark. Guess what that does?
Swims
in sand. Wait, there's Snow Shark.
Mm-hmm.
It skis.
I have seen Snow Shark. That was
You've seen Snow Shark.
I have, yes.
What? Do tell. Spill the beans on Snow Shark. Because there's only one. The Greenland shark is the only shark that exists in the Arctic waters.
It's been a while, but it was on the Sci-Fi Channel, and I just remember like shots of the snow and skiers are going down the mountain, and then there's this fin coming down.
Okay, so we've got Snow Shark, Sand Shark. There is Shark in Venice, which someone faked a photo, but when the corona happened, to show how if we leave nature alone, it'll all come back. But that's not true.
That's actually a popular meme.
Well, they made a whole movie about it.
One shirt and Photoshop it everywhere.
They do the same thing when there's a flood in Houston. They'll have a shark.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, this one is the shark in Venice, and then there was Swamp Shark. Guess what that shark's doing? Yeah. So are there any freshwater sharks that we need to be aware of besides the bull shark?
As far as I know, the bull shark's the only one that can live in fresh water, and actually, I'm kind of sad about that.
Yeah,
because
it's more brackish.
Yeah, but actually, I rewatched a video today on my shark playlist. There's this little lake at a golf course in Australia, and some bull sharks got washed over from nearby river in a flood, and so now they have sharks that live at their golf course. This was like almost a decade ago, so I'm not sure what the situation is there now, but
I'm sure
it's kind of fun.
That's a hazard.
Terrifying.
That is definitely a hazard.
Well, it's Australia. Isn't everything dangerous in Australia?
That's true.
I mean, if you know, the platypus is poisonous. So even the cute little things, they're all, and you got chlamydia with the koalas. Everything's is disgusting and dangerous. But having these sharks, see, I think that what happens is the Shark Week has really helped the sharks out quite a bit. So explain how Jaws destroyed the shark situation and what we've done to correct that. And anybody can jump in as well when they have something. But I'll go with Lizy.
Yeah. So hang on a sec. I'm consulting my notes here. So,
go ahead, Tracy.
If you don't mind, I'll just jump in real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
I remember when Jaws, I don't remember it coming out. I think it was released in 75. So that's the year I was born. But I remember like when it was on TV, my parents wouldn't let me watch it, but they watched it, and I snuck up from downstairs and like sat in the room behind in the dark watching this thing, and still scared the crap out of me. I was afraid to get in the bath because I was so scared by it. And I think it really, and I remember the news articles about the pandemonium that the movie caused, and it was kind of the first real summer blockbuster film, and really did kind of create this negative stereotype of sharks for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember, we had the Summer of the Shark, 1 or 2 summers ago, where we had maybe 7 or 8 people get bit, maybe 1 person died, because there's not really that many people who die. I think more people die of sandcastle collapses than shark bites. So you're actually more dangerous on the beach than in the water.
Mm-hmm. There's a whole list of things that are more likely to kill you than a shark attack. Well, the reason that shark attacks, according to the statistics, have gone up in recent years, but that's because there are more people on beaches because the human population has gone up. So people are more likely to encounter sharks simply because there's more people. The ocean is where the sharks live. But the reason shark attacks happen, like it's a complicated, there's no one given scenario or formula for avoiding a shark attack, there's safety tips, of course, but
Well, I know
But
that Batman has bat repellent.
Yes, he's got shark repellent.
Shark repellent.
yeah,
Yes.
but I guess that's what makes sharks so scary to people is that they're kind of unpredictable.
I think there's that, and I think the idea is that you don't really see them coming. Like your head's usually above
Mhm.
water, and then all of a sudden you're just getting attacked. Whereas a lot of the other animals that might attack you, like a bear or a big cat, you're more likely to see them from a distance. With a shark, it's more of the immediacy of it.
Yeah.
And I also think the sheer devastation
Yes.
the shark can do
Mhm.
because they don't eat people and they rarely take more than one bite.
Right.
But they don't need
That's
to.
true.
Yeah,
one bite
will
is
do it.
the one will do you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Go ahead, Lizy.
And sharks, it's been said that the reason that sharks bite people is because they think we're seals, because that's what we look like from our surfboards. But the truth is, if a great white really thought that a human was a seal, they would full on come up from below and ambush, and there's no way a human could survive that. But when a real shark sees a human, they don't always know what a human is. So they approach the human just to investigate whether or not it's a prey item.
Yeah, you are the Whitman sampler of the sea, and they're just kind of swimming up. They're gonna take a taste, and
Mhm.
if they don't like it, they just keep going, and they don't.
Yeah.
Apparently we taste awful.
But not according
Yeah,
to
I
some
heard
movies, though.
What was that, Robert?
Not according to some movies, though, because some movies are just like, oh, that was pretty good. I think I'll have another.
Well, you've been watching Hannibal Lecter movies again.
And that's where the movies have gone off track.
Well, let's talk about because I have some situations here that I want to talk about, and we'll talk about the accuracy of them because some of them are not just crazy shark attacks. Of course, now Deep Blue Sea, we talked about it briefly. That was just plain old great shark attacks, but that's because those sharks were supposed to have brain activity that never reduces age and they're impervious to cancer.
Yes. I mean, they were basically Frankenstein sharks, for lack of a better way of putting it. It was like, what can we do? Well, we got a shark and we got some genetic scientists. Let's put them together, see what comes out, shake them up, see what comes out. Oh, look, it's a smart shark that is resistant to cancer and is just going to attack anything it sees. And I actually paid to go see that movie, and I've paid since for seeing it. But
Well,
Okay.
I think what it was is that Shark Week has really done quite a bit to rehabilitate the reputation of sharks, and so I think they have to make sharks you just can't have a natural shark attack. You have to have them altered by man to be created, so that way it's not really blaming the natural ability of the shark. It's something we've done to the shark. Valerie Cameron, who was supposed to be here and couldn't because she's not feeling well. She was talking about like we call the Jurassic Park theory, where man is dabbling with the genetics of sharks and causing them to change in some way. Because like Sharktopus is a shark octopus hybrid that they made for no other reason than a regular shark's not scary enough. We had another one called Super Shark where they had mutated land sharks. Now, I did not know this, but Robert, you are aware of a land shark besides on Saturday Night Live. Explain that, will you?
So in Marvel Comics, there's a character named Gwenpool who we won't even go into her backstory, but she was fighting with some other young heroes, and one of the creatures they wound up fighting were I'm not sure if it would be considered a school or what, of land sharks.
A shoal. They're a shoal of sharks.
A shoal of sharks.
Well,
Thank you,
actually, the technical term for a group of sharks is a shiver.
A shiver of sharks.
Which is appropriate.
Now you know.
Yeah.
Half the battle. Yo, Joe.
There you go. Shiver of sharks.
At the end of this, after they had gotten rid of the other sharks, and it wasn't like killing them all, it was just they corralled them somewhere, and they found she found a baby land shark, and she adopted it for her pet. And thus we get Jeff.
And so it just walks around like a dog, and then occasionally in the water?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just found out about Jeff like 2 weeks ago, Robert. I had a friend text me And she's like, I'm not a Marvel fan. I'm not a comics book fan, but I have found my character. I'm like, who's that? And she's like, Jeff. And I'm
And
like,
it's really funny.
Jeff? Who's Jeff?
I've been doing pictures with Jeff for probably about 2 months on Wednesdays with Gwenpool, just her out like playing fetch with him or taking him for a walk down by the beach because I can.
Well,
Nice.
one of the latest trends is not just mutating sharks or causing man to get in, but now it is to get prehistoric animals involved.
Yep.
Oh,
So I know Megalodon and then Meg,
Mhm.
competing movies that came out within years of each other, are basically trying to say that prehistoric massive, because a regular great white shark is not big enough anymore. It doesn't scare us enough. We need to have a massive 40-foot shark. I don't know how big these things get. But I did not see Meg because I heard Jason Statham does punch Meg, but I don't know if he actually does any damage. So Robert,
are you of punching Meg?
You hit him in the gills. That's what you got to punch him in the nose. That's where their senses are.
Yeah, but
I did see
Megalodon's huge compared to a human.
You don't know Jason Statham then, do you?
No, I don't. Sounds
Robert,
like an idiot.
Robert, tell us a little bit about Meg before we get some real actual information.
So basically, a bunch of scientists were working in a deep sea research station. They found for all intents and purposes, a pocket of a false seafloor in the Marianas Trench that had heavier water than the water above it. And it was a prehistoric kind of setting. And they dropped through the floor of it, discovered all of these things, and then went back up and didn't realize we left a hole and something has followed us out. And it's a giant, like 75-foot long megalodon.
And that's
and hilarity ensues.
Instead of eating boats, it's eating like underwater stations. Is that right?
Well, it's whatever it wants, really. It's just like, oh, there's something in the water, and I'm hungry. I'm always hungry.
And that's another myth of sharks, Lizy, right? Where they think sharks eat anything.
That's true. Everyone thinks that sharks are on a seafood diet, but they're not on a seafood diet. They're on a seafood diet. They'd much rather eat fish or marine mammals or turtles, and some smaller bottom-feeding sharks will also go for crustaceans and stuff.
Well, yeah. I will go for some crustaceans on occasion as well. But it's one of these things where humans are safe most of the time. In fact, the amount of people who get bit are very minimal.
Exactly.
So, yet there's still this undying fear of that. Tracy, you were talking about how you didn't even want to get into the tub, which I'm assuming had clear water in it, but I don't know where you live. So
bubbles, maybe.
Yeah, I think we might have lost Tracy. So Tracy, where did that fear come from? Are you still there?
Water, it still freaked me out.
Okay. but what part of what is the freaking part? You think it's going to come up out of the drain? What's the fear in a pool or a water situation?
It was my 5-year-old brain that was doing it. So
this was last week. Don't lie. I talked to your wife. He won't take a bath. He's a shower guy.
But it's funny because that movie freaked me out so bad. But I'm a big fan of really bad movies. Like if a movie's so bad that it's funny, or it's so bad it's entertaining, I enjoy it. And a lot of shark movies fall into that category, like Snow Sharks. Shark Attack Megalodon with John Barrowman is a terrible, terrible film. But
John Barrowman.
Yeah. It was his first film, and he might have the worst line in movie history. I'll let you look it up. I'm not going to repeat it, but
go ahead.
I was just going to say it's something about the weird. We don't spend a lot of time in the water. I think the ocean is probably the last unexplored area on this planet. There's a lot there that we don't know about. And I think that inherently kind of scares us as humans because we're not sure of what's down there.
Well, before we move on to some, I know that we want to talk about some good things about sharks. I do want to get into the Sharknado situation. mostly because how does it exist for 5 times? Is it just pulling up massive amounts of sharks and then spitting them out, or is it?
They got multiple types of sharks. You got there was a fire shark because it went over an oil field and sucked up oil, and then they exploded. They were throwing barrels at it and trying to explode. So the Sharknado caught fire. There was all sorts of craziness. They got into time travel towards the end. I mean, it was just.
Did they go back in time to kill Baby Shark?
Hitler Shark. It was Hitler Shark, baby Hitler. Yeah.
We had the little mustache. That's how we could tell he was Hitler Shark. I got it.
But I mean, these were just so over the top to begin with, and then they just got worse and worse in terms of being over the top. But yeah, they got so silly that to me it was just a blast.
All right. Well, Lizy, let's talk about some positives of sharks. So what are some of the things that you want people to know about the great qualities of sharks?
Yeah, well, to start with, there are over 400 different species of sharks, and not all of them are your average cruising shark. Like, they come in a lot of different shapes. From like the whale sharks, some people are probably more familiar with, but I'm really enamored of some of the smaller species. Okay,
well, most
Colin,
sharks are small, aren't they?
Oh yeah, a lot of sharks are smaller. Colin, can you pull up photo 2?
Ooh, we're getting into some special technical things. There we go.
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so these are some smaller bottom-dwelling sharks. Some you may have heard of, some you may not have, but some of them are kind of cute.
Yeah, I like the one that's okay. So we've got the big square, and then we've got like a flounder on the top left, and then there's a little cute little one right underneath it. It looks like a little snake face.
Yeah, the little snake face, that's actually a small spotted catfish. It lives in temperate waters off the Atlantic coast of Europe and Africa.
And what's cute about sharks is that they have puppies, right?
Yes. Well, back in the olden days, sharks were called dogfish, and so we still call their babies pups to this day.
See, that's great about them.
Land sharks.
Yes, they're terribly cute.
Well, sure. Every animal's cute until they get. I mean, Tracy was cute when he was a baby.
It's true. No, actually,
my gosh.
No, I have some terrible pictures because I had.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Tracy was an ugly baby. Robert, you were a beautiful baby, right?
I was a gorgeous baby.
Yeah, exactly. I was the Tom Cruise of toddlers until I got to be about 9, and then I got ugly. Yeah, that happens when I run up things. But so they're definitely there's a wide variety of them, and they're not all these big, huge, massive tanks in the water. What else? What else is great about them?
Yeah. So in recent years, people have been increasingly figure out that sharks don't automatically attack people when they get in the water with them. So shark diving in various parts of the world has become big business in recent years. Colin, do you want to do photo number 4? Yeah, so that's at Tiger Beach, I'm assuming, in the Bahamas. Those are a couple of lemon sharks, and lemon sharks love their back rubs and also their nose rubs. You probably know this already, but sharks have electrical sensors on their noses called ampullae of Lorenzini, and for some reason, they really like it when it gets rubbed by a human hand. It's very relaxing.
But isn't it also, if they come at you, hitting them real hard in that same spot will cause a problem because it's so sensitive?
Well, actually, I've heard that like in a shark attack, you actually want to punch it in the gills instead of the nose.
Sideways. You want to go to the sides. Remember that side punches, not full on straight.
Sweep the gills.
Sweep the gills.
Yeah.
Good one, Robert.
Yeah. And so shark diving has become big business in recent years, and there's professional shark divers who go swimming with these animals all the time, and some of them have even developed relationships with individual sharks to an extent.
Isn't that how we got Aquaman?
Not Aquaman, but these are these are like real people who are friends with real sharks,
So
and it's very touching to watch videos about them.
So they're not just the mindless, constant motion machines, because I think a lot of people just think
sharks, apparently they can recognize individual people, and
Really?
there's
And
a
not
guy
just
named
by
Jim
cage.
Abernathy who's friends with several large female tiger sharks. Yes, tiger sharks, and they all swim up to him for nose rubs repeatedly. It's a little nerve-wracking to watch, but at the same time, it's just wonderful that he understands that these animals, like they do like snacks, but they also really love getting attention and affection from humans.
Well, we're
Lizzie,
learning stuff. Go ahead, Tracy.
I was just gonna say, Lizzie, would you do a shark cage dive, or have you?
Yeah, I would totally. Yeah.
Because we're learning things about sharks all the time. It was only a few years ago that we realized that the South African shark, great whites, jump out of the water. Up
Right.
until then, we had heard people say it, and it was like, no, that's not true. And now, they have Air Jaws, which is a documentary of these sharks because they gained so much speed attacking. And that's where you were talking about earlier. If sharks wanted to eat a human, they would really put a number on us.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
Is there anything?
Go ahead. Colin, do you want to show picture number 5? Yeah. So this is a shark diver named Ocean Ramsey. You guys may have seen this in the news last year, but a very large female great white went for a swim past Hawaii, and Ocean Ramsey went out to swim with her. And the idea when you get into the water with these animals is to make eye contact and let them know that you are not a prey item. You are their equal, essentially. And you keep your behavior calm when you're in the presence of a shark, like making rapid motions and splashing away. It's either going to spook them away or it's going to make them want to attack you. But if you're calm and relaxed in the presence of a shark, like, they will be calm and relaxed around you. And
I don't think I could.
There you can do,
especially in that picture where it's like twice the size of the person.
Oh my gosh!
Might need this diver later.
That was my wife. That was awesome, honey. I love that. That's a great quote.
Bravo! I don't think I could hold my composure, Lizzie. I think I'd be freaking out, man.
And I've seen I've seen the cages, and I've seen them. I mean, they actually got some the footage in Jaws of that shark destroying that cage is actual footage of a shark destroying a cage they got off the coast of Australia. And
really,
it was there is absolutely. They couldn't get a mechanical shark. They couldn't get the mechanical shark to do anything to do so. That was actual documentary footage where a fish, a shark just happened to get above the cage. It wasn't attacking them, but it got above the cage and started thrashing around because it felt trapped.
Okay.
But they have so much power that they can really just decimate.
Yeah, great
anything
white.
away.
Yeah, they're pretty powerful, but other positive aspects of sharks, like, Colin, if you want to show number 9, photo number 9. So these are some white tip reef sharks just chilling out.
Oh, they look like my dogs.
They look like vampires.
No, they don't.
Those are just the barbels on their nose, I think. Yeah. I like white tip reef sharks. They're so funny looking. They look like they're judging whoever's taking a photo of them.
They got some serious side eye going. You're right.
Oh, yeah.
And so what, Tracy, I won't go with Robert because Robert's been kind of quiet there. He's got that great shield in the background, so I can see why you're just standing there looking cool. Of all the sharks, what's your favorite shark? What sharks do you like?
Hammerhead and tiger shark.
Yeah, I'm a huge hammerhead fan because I think they just got a cool look to them.
Oh yeah.
I guess there's a big hammerhead. I want to say migration that happens off of Florida, And it's just they have drones that go over the water, and you can just see hundreds
I'm
of these
not sure
hammerheads.
it's the hammerheads that migrate off of Florida. I think that's blacktip sharks.
I
But
think
yeah,
you know what? I think I saw the black tips, and there was a hammerhead among them because it's hard to, it's
oh
it's
yeah,
hard to misjudge what a
was the
hammerhead
hammerhead
looks like.
hunting them? I think I've seen that one.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to as we start to wrap things up. We've only got about 10 minutes left. Talk about what we can see more in entertainment, because we want to talk about the possibilities of using sharks in a more positive light. One thing right off the top of my head I know is there's some video games out there. There's a new one that's out there called Maneater. Now, it's not putting them in a great light, but you are the shark.
No,
Right.
Yeah. So
Right.
but as the shark, you get to decide who to bite and who not to bite. And, does this kid look tasty, or does this grown-up look tasty? But at least you're in control. And I think you mutate, and as you level up and you get more things, and you can bite more people, or I don't know how it works. But
I saw footage where it
Interesting.
gets so high that it can jump out of the water and eat a helicopter.
really.
which is another meme that they
Yes,
have, is that
yes.
great white shark jumping out and grabbing that helicopter.
I'm excited for the Suicide Squad with King Shark.
Steve Agee is playing
Uh-huh.
King Shark, who's, if you know Steve Agee's a very funny guy. He was in Guardians of the Galaxies as the guy with the goggle,
Right.
the big eyes.
What's this character called again?
King
King
Shark.
Shark.
King Shark. He's
The
also
The character has
Okay.
also appeared on The Flash
He's been
Yes.
on the Flash.
a couple of seasons ago, and I think they've had him back a couple of times, but they did have the character the
and
same
he'll
And
be
don't forget Harley
playable in
Quinn.
the Suicide Squad
Mhm.
game. There's a
Okay.
Suicide Squad game called Kill the Justice League, and King Shark's one of the playable characters.
Yep. He did appear in an Arkham game, but he's also in the Harley Quinn DC Universe.
the animated
He's
show.
very funny
Right.
and very
So
sweet.
he's a villain.
He's not a villain, but he's kind of an anti-hero in that movie. He's very
Alright.
funny and very sweet. He's played by Ron Funches, and if you know Ron Funches, he's a very sweet and nice guy with a great voice. So, what other things do you want to see? Like there was the movie Shark Tale. That
I was a captive audience for that movie a couple of times when I was in middle school. I didn't particularly enjoy it.
you don't like mafia sharks?
No, not really.
So what about like Bruce from Finding Dory?
Finding Nemo.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
I've always liked Bruce.
Well, Bruce was the original shark in Jaws. That's what they
Yes.
named Jaws, Bruce.
Yeah,
and then I guess
I
they
found
homaged
that
him.
out recently.
Yeah.
The story is that they named it. Spielberg named it after his lawyer because he said he hardly works, and when he does, he charges me an arm and a leg.
Okay.
Gotcha.
But hey, one of the things in pop culture that's really gone crazy, and I can't stand it, but it's a Baby Shark, the song.
Oh, yeah. There it is.
So, do you think that where do you think this is all going? Do you think we're going to have hero sharks at some point?
We've had them.
I'd like to see them for sure.
Well,
Yeah,
you had
I'd
the
love-
cartoon, right, Robert? Is that what you're
Still,
saying?
but I mean, still, it's taking something that is considered scary from Jaws, pushing it 10 years forward and making it into a heroic character. And it was basically, I didn't watch Street Sharks, but Tiger Sharks, they had characters who turned into various forms of shark or hybrids of sharks.
Well, that was so. 30 years later, we need to find something else.
Yeah.
This was,
Bring back Jabberjaw.
Jabberjaw was.
maybe not.
Do you guys remember Jabberjaw? Lizy, do you know who Jabberjaw is?
I looked him up once.
So
I
he
have to say I would like to see Jabberjaw and Aquaman. I'd like more sharks in Aquaman, period.
I think they should. Jabberjaw and Aquaman did meet in like the Laugh Olympics or something like that. They
Yes.
had some kind of weird
Okay.
crossover.
Yes, they did.
Jabberjaw was, and it's hard to say his name. Jabberjaw was a kind of a cowardly shark
Right.
that lived in the land. He hung out
No,
with.
no, they were in the ocean. He was part of a band. It was basically, if Scooby-Doo was a shark, it would have been Jabberjaw. I mean, that's your tagline right there.
So, wrapping up, we got about 6 minutes left. What would you like, Lizy? What would you like to see more of in
Well,
specific
I'd
ways?
like to see more sharks that aren't your garden variety great white, like more bottom dwelling sharks, like the little cat shark or the epaulet shark. Like, make characters that are more diverse species of sharks, and also make more shark characters that are heroes.
Robert, anything? Do you think these tiger sharks could come back in some way, or where would you like to see more
To
sharks?
be honest, I mean, could they, given the way that we've had the retro push with things like He-Man and any other cartoon that we'd grown up with in the 70s and 80s, I could easily see it, and it would be a really easy thing to do. Shark awareness, just people being aware that sharks aren't just dumb mouths with fins, that they, are actually intelligent creatures, and it's not just like, you're moving, I'm going to eat you.
Tracy,
Yeah,
I want you to hold on a second. I want you to recast the movies with sharks. Give me some movies that you think would a good shark would have replaced that lead character and would have been a good job with.
Die Hard.
Die Hard with sharks.
Shark Hard.
Rubber wins.
Actually, I've kind of had a project I've been working on off and on that's a retelling of Lord of the Rings, but it's under the sea and all the main characters are sharks. Colin, can I get photo number 12?
She's got PR.
Now, this is a wobbegong shark, lives off the coast of Australia. Isn't he perfect?
Nice.
That is definitely. We can get John Rhys Davies to actually voice that because he'd be perfect.
Yes. Gosh, I need him to come back to Fanic so he can sign it. I already have his autograph, but I would pay for it again just to have him sign that.
I would chip in for that, Lizzie.
He is a sweetheart. He is a very nice
He's
man.
a very nice man.
I love him.
So I would like to say so. Die Hard with sharks would be good because I remember Jaws in 3D. Do you guys remember Jaws in 3D? Dennis Quaid and Beth. Now I can't remember her name, but I remember that because I went to SeaWorld and they closed it down so they could film there.
Oh.
So we only got to see about half of SeaWorld, but I think if you made the shark the hero, you could do Die Hard trapped in a SeaWorld-like underwater thing like in Jaws 3D, and that would be fun.
I like that. Ocean's 11. Do a shark heist movie.
All right.
He's got to recruit his crew.
I actually have seen Ocean's 11. I'd love that.
You could get little crabs to sneak in. They'd be the little
Exactly. Exactly.
You gotta have a moray eel in there or something. Colin has just come in. He's like, this has gone off the rails. I gotta come in and stop.
I gotta rein you guys in, man. I mean, we've got people rewriting West Wing with sharks. So.
There you go.
Think of all the talking and swimming they'd have to do, like a West Wing. Constantly moving, like a shark.
Oh, gosh.
Tiger sharks with a lobbyist. Yes. That makes perfect sense.
Shark superheroes, anyone?
Oh my gosh.
So, Colin, I think you're here to remind everybody to definitely donate.
I sure am. Right now, we're about to raffle off. If you guys go to givebutter.com/whatever the URL is that I'm going to post.
Utah Remote Con
right now.
2020.
Yeah, RemoteCon 2020. It's great. Go donate because you can support me. Why not?
Can I say something real quick, Colin?
Yeah, please do.
So I don't know. I know Craig knows this. I know Colin knows this. But my wife is currently fighting breast cancer, and today was her first day of radiation. And anything you can do to help support the American Cancer Society, please do. It's an amazing organization.
Go, Lisa. Woo, we're behind you.
I'm just waiting to find out if she got superpowers from her radiation treatment.
She got the first going to take, but we're excited.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, guys. We really appreciate it. For our raffle, if I could get a drum roll from you guys, please help me winner as I run my random name generator. And
what are we raffling off for?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah, what are you raffling?
You know, they didn't tell me that ahead of time. Let me pull it up here.
Because I did win something and I didn't like it, and I don't live in Utah, so I gave my card away, my coffee card. But I could win again because I spent enough money. So
these are actually pretty good.
yeah. Oh, no, it had nothing to do with the prizes. I wasn't an anime fan, so the Captain America stuff, I was bitter. Like, oh, God,
here we go. Yeah, and we've got a Gyarados.
Oh, that looks good.
And good old Magikarp here. And a $10 gift card to Mountain Donuts. The art for Godzilla is by Creative Mechanics. And then we've got Gypsy Sage Design for the Gyarados Pokemon art.
Nice.
So thank you so much for donating these guys. Really appreciate it. On to the winner, though. Let me go ahead and run the name generator.
Big money, no whammy.
Nicholas Cage won.
Nicolas Cage? Nice.
Nicolas Cage donated for Steve and the Izzy.
Donated for Steve, yeah.
Yeah,
remember, if you know who Nicolas Cage is.
Nope. I do know who Nicolas Cage is.
Please,
it might have been him.
Let us know. Yeah, it might have been him.
Yeah. Did he pay with dinosaur bones?
I mean, he paid with $150, so he can get any prize in my book. So hopefully Steve can help us find this magical Nicolas Cage. So yeah, congratulations, Nicolas Cage.
Bringing games.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us, for sharing your Sharkology knowledge. I've got to say, I personally love Sharknado because I was in it for 2 seconds.
You were.
Zonner and Colin. You can see me and Zonner's heads in it, and it was great.
How did you get into that? You can't say something like that and then walk off. Come on.
All right. Well, Fan X, they had this random secret panel, and so you went to the secret panel, and they were filming in one of the Sharknado movies for part of it.
I think it was 4.
It was 4 or 5. I can't.
I think
remember.
it's 4, but it might have been 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, very, very, very quick.
Nice.
It was all right. Yeah,
that's Colin's claim to fame.
It's my only claim to fame.
It's more than I've got.
Well, thank you, Liz, for the panel suggestion. It was great. I've already received a lot of positive feedback on it. So thank you.
My pleasure.
And thank you, esteemed panelists. You're wonderful as always.
Glad to work with you guys.
Good job, Robert.
Thank you.
All right. Bon voyage. Yeah, there we go.
Bon voyage.
I'm so tired, guys. It's been a long week.
Bon voyage.